Okay, so we've talked about writing for broadcast, visuals in the studio, and visuals in the field. Now it's time to put the rundown and script together for the show and to lay the thing out. The first thing you need to produce is a rundown. This is your schedule for the show. As a producer, this will be your responsibility. Now, let me be very clear. The examples I'm providing here are how I teach making the rundown and the script. I've seen several different examples. Each newsroom is going to do it their way, so don't think there's one perfect way of making a rundown and a script. Okay, so back to our rundown. From this, you know what order the show is going to be in, as indicated by the slug, and what kind of segment you're going to have. OC1 means you'll have one person on camera, PKG stands for package, reader means the person on camera will be providing the story as a reader. You'll also know who the talent is, if that person on camera is the anchor, and if so, which one, or in the case of packages, who is going to be producing that package and reporting from the field. You also know who the story writer is so that if there is an issue, you'll know who to contact for clarification. Notice in this example that for the Clinton highlights, Clinton students are the talent, but Jake is the story writer. This just means that the students at Clinton High School produced the package, but Jake wrote the part of the script to tease the package and then toss to it. The estimated duration column indicates how long each segment should run, and the total column indicates the total length of the show to that point. And so this is what the producer script should look like. I've attached a copy of this rundown and script on Blackboard so you can see it in its entirety. Pages are divided in half with a copy to be read by the anchors on the right, video and graphic instructions on the left. When this rolls through the teleprompter, whatever is typed in the right column will appear, but you'll delete what is on the left. Why do we make scripts in this manner? So the director, TD, graphics coordinator, and audio engineer can see what is coming next, what graphics need to go where, and that sort of thing. Notice that the left and right column should match up, meaning where it says Take CU Cam 1, Jake, on the left, we should have Jake on camera 1 as he begins to speak. Where it says Take Lower Third, Jake Werther, Midwest Missouri Gridiron Report, that graphic should be inserted just as soon as he says it's been an action-packed week. Now look at the bottom where the Warrensburg highlight video 2 minutes is typed. You'll notice the instructions to the left say Take Lower Third, O'Hara Celtics at Warrensburg Tigers, Ben Eaton reporting, and in parentheses, 5 seconds. This means that you let the highlight video run for 5 seconds, and then you bring in the graphic. Same thing with Take Lower Third, final score Warrensburg 54, O'Hara 34 with 150 in parentheses. This graphic should be brought in at the 150 mark for this package. I have seen a script where they actually transcribed the audio from each package and lined up graphics for each point in the script. You can do this. In fact, in some stations, you'll probably be asked to write a script for each package with these instructions, which is called an editing script, and then they simply input the editing script into the producer script. But I've only seen one example of this being done. Most times you'll just indicate the producer script where the package is supposed to be placed and the timing of where each graphic should come in, as we've done here. Now we need to talk about some of the key terms you're going to be using. Reader, or RDR, means there is no video, only the anchor on camera, abbreviated by AOC plus his or her name. Reporter packages, or PKG, are pre-produced. The anchor leads in and throws to the package story. Again, you may have a stand-up in the beginning, but more likely it is going to be in the middle or end because another option is the look live. In this one, the reporter does a stand-up at the beginning and end. Think about when you're watching the news and the anchor throws to a live reporter. The reporter 99 times out of 100 will do a stand-up at the beginning as he or she is reporting live from the scene. They'll pan to some B-roll or some edited footage or reporting conducted earlier, and they'll end with the reporter doing a stand-up for the close. Thus, in the look live, the story is packaged in this same fashion, but it is all pre-recorded. Highlights also can look this way. You'll have pre-packaged clips from the game you want to use and perhaps even an interview with the coach, but the audio, other than the natural sound, will not be pre-recorded. Rather, the script will be written for the anchor to read at the desk while the highlights roll. Actualities will then be packaged separately and be brought in when the anchor tosses at them, which helps with timing. Think about this. If the anchor is reading too long and goes over the highlights, you can always have that anchor back on camera before tossing to the actuality. But if the actuality and highlights are edited together, then you're going to have the anchor reading over the actuality. Graphics, as we've discussed, include the OTS, or over the shoulder, LWR3, or lower third, and FS, or full screen. When you code these in your script, you also need to provide a descriptor so the graphics coordinator knows which OTS you want. So if you're doing a story about a wrestler winning a national title, you might code the graphic OTS Champion on the script, which will match the name given the graphic. Voiceovers, or VO, refer to when the anchor reads over the videotape. This is a great way to break up a reader. You may not be able to produce a full package as the new softball press box is being constructed, but you can have a reader get some B-roll of the construction and then play the video while the anchor does a voiceover. Two other takes on this are the voiceover with soundbite, or VOSOT, and the voiceover with soundbites back to voiceover, or VO, SOT VO. And the VOSOT, the anchor will voice over the video and then toss it to an actuality. So in our construction example, you'd have the voiceover with the anchor. You would have the voiceover, and the anchor would toss to the actuality with the foreman who is heading up the project. That would either end the story, or you might come back to the studio and the anchor for a snapper. Alternatively, you can do the VO SOT VO, and instead of coming back to the studio, provide more B-roll after the actuality and have the anchor voice over. Two other terms to know are the tease and the lead-in, or toss. A tease comes at the beginning or end of a segment and is a quick preview of the upcoming stories. Generally, you'll have a tease right before you go to a break, and then you'll cover those stories right after the break. A toss, on the other hand, is when the anchor leads into the upcoming story, usually a package. Finally, let me give you a couple of tips on narration. First, think about coordinating. You neither want to over or under explain what they're seeing. So you don't want to tell the audience, this was the scene, when they can clearly see it. But you also want to avoid not providing other information that's not related to the scene. So you might write for your highlights, Johnson put the Mules in front with this 67-yard touchdown run, which would be over-explaining because we can see the 67-yard touchdown run. But then you can add, that was one of his 3 touchdowns scored on the day. So now you've coordinated what they're seeing with some other information. Also remember keeping eyes open. Pictures can change standards of newsworthiness. If we have good video, it is part of the story. If we don't have video of key facts, that video still can make it into the story, and so can the key facts. We may just decide to provide the key facts at the end of the story as part of a reader. Aim for exact timing. Make the audio match the video. If video is too short, condense the narration. If video is long, we can always edit that too. Or you can remember what we said about coordinating and provide some further information if it's relevant. Sound. Even though we have visuals, you still have to identify the speaker and set up what he or she is going to say. Maybe not by name, but at least by an identifier, such as, the Jennies coach had this to say after the game. Now keep in mind, you better have given the Jennies head coach's name before that somewhere in the story. And finally, let the story breathe. Don't try to cram all the facts in or a machine gun report. Let the audience's mind relax. You don't have to speak every moment of the report. Okay, that should do it. There's a lot more to broadcast journalism and reporting, but for our purposes in this lesson, this will give us a good start. For those of you who truly want to get into this profession, either as producers or reporters, these are 4 books that I use extensively in my research and in my teaching. They have great details about everything from interviewing to graphics, from writing to editing. A couple are a bit dated, but the concepts are tried and true. So check them out, get some practice, and you are well on your way to being an effective television sports producer.